Welcome back, trainers. Today we're embarking on a journey through one of the most beloved regions in all of Pokémon history. The Johto region isn't just a location on a map. It's a place steeped in ancient mythology, rich cultural traditions, and mysteries that have captivated players for over 2 decades. From the legendary Tower Duo to the enigmatic Unown, from the serene landscapes of Ecruteak City to the bustling streets of Goldenrod, Johto represents a perfect blend of the old and new, tradition and modernity. So grab your Pokégear, choose your starter, and let's explore 120 fascinating facts about the Johto region. Let's start at the very beginning, because understanding Johto means understanding its place in the Pokémon world. Johto was the second core series region ever introduced, making its debut in Pokémon Gold and Silver versions in 1999. This wasn't just another region, it was the first major expansion of the Pokémon universe, proving that the world of Pokémon extended far beyond the original 151 species we'd come to know and love. The region brought with it 100 new Pokémon species, doubling the size of the known Pokédex and introducing mechanics that would become staples of the franchise for years to come. The name Johto itself carries significant meaning. Game designer Junichi Masuda coined the name, with the kanji translating to either Castle Palace or Lattice Plan Capital. This naming choice wasn't arbitrary. It directly references the traditional Japanese architecture and historical significance that defines the region. While Kanto drew heavily from modern Tokyo and its surrounding areas, Johto looked to Japan's ancient capital regions for inspiration, creating a region that feels timeless and steeped in history. Geographically, Johto is based on the Kansai region of Japan, the same way Kanto mirrors its real-world counterpart. The Kansai region includes cities like Kyoto, Japan's former capital, along with Osaka, Nara, and Kobe. This geographical inspiration runs deep through every aspect of Johto's design. Where Kanto represents modern standardization and formality, Kansai, and by extension Johto, embodies a more down-to-earth traditional way of life. The people of the Kansai region are known for being more relaxed and good-humored compared to their Kanto counterparts, and this cultural difference shines through in Johto's cities and towns. What makes Johto truly unique in the Pokémon world is its direct connection to Kanto. The two regions share a joint landmass, connected by the imposing Mount Silver, which is based on the iconic Mount Fuji. This connection isn't just geographical, it's deeply meaningful to the story and experience of playing through Generation 2 games. Johto and Kanto share the same Elite Four, the same villainous team in the revived Team Rocket, and even the same Pokémon storage system developer. This interconnection created something unprecedented in the franchise. A game where completing one region's challenge was only the beginning of your adventure. The history of Johto stretches back thousands of years, and it's this ancient past that gives the region its mystical atmosphere. 1,500 years before the events of Gold and Silver, an ancient civilization constructed what we now know as the Ruins of Alph. These weren't just random structures. They were built with a specific purpose. This civilization had made contact with the mysterious Pokémon known as Unown, and they sought to create a place where they could coexist with these enigmatic creatures. The ruins became the foundation for the first known system of writing, with the Unown's shapes that bearing an uncanny resemblance to letters of the alphabet. The relationship between the ancient people and the Unown was sacred and protected. The Unown were timid creatures who rejected contact with anyone outside the civilization that sheltered them. When outsiders began to gather near the ruins, threatening this delicate balance, the ancient inhabitants made a difficult decision. They would leave Johto to ensure the Unown's well-being, but they wouldn't abandon them entirely. Before departing, they devised intricate puzzles throughout the ruins, signals that could one day summon the Unown again when the right person solved them. But the story doesn't end there. The ancient Johto people's journey led them far to the north, to a mountain where they encountered another group. People who had come from what would one day be known as the Sinnoh region, specifically from the area around Spear Pillar. These two groups recognized a connection between their respective mythologies. The Johto people revered the Unown, while the Sinnoh people worshipped Arceus, the creator of all Pokémon. They recognized an underlying relationship between these two entities and worked together to build a temple, honoring both. This collaborative effort resulted in the Sinnoh ruins, a place that incorporated architectural elements from both cultures. The temple stood as a testament to cooperation between civilizations and the mysterious link between Arceus and the Unown. This ritual of honoring legendary Pokémon through dance and ceremony eventually circulated back to Johto, specifically to Ecruteak City. This tradition would become central to Johto's culture, with the kimono girls carrying on these ancient practices into the modern era. Their dances aren't mere performances. They're sacred rituals with the power to summon and commune with legendary Pokémon. Approximately 700 years before the modern era, the people of Ecruteak constructed two magnificent 9-tier towers with the noble goal of fostering friendship and hope between Pokémon and humans. The western tower was the Brass Tower, said to awaken Pokémon, while the eastern Bell Tower was where Pokémon came to rest. These weren't ordinary structures. They were massive, beautiful buildings that could be seen from great distances. The towers attracted visitors from all over, with people traveling to Ecruteak just to witness their magnificence and experience the view from their peaks. The towers were more than architectural marvels. They were homes to two of the most powerful Pokémon in existence. The Bell Tower became the perch of Ho-Oh, the rainbow Pokémon and guardian of the skies. The Brass Tower housed Lugia, the diving Pokémon and guardian of the seas. For centuries, these legendary Pokémon resided atop their respective towers, symbols of the harmony between humans and Pokémon. But this golden age wasn't destined to last forever. 150 years before the events of Gold and Silver, disaster struck Ecruteak City. A powerful lightning storm rolled over the region, and a bolt of lightning, stronger than any normal strike, hit the Brass Tower directly. The tower, despite its sturdy construction with the swaying central pillar designed to protect it from earthquakes, couldn't withstand this assault. Fire engulfed the structure, and for 3 days, flames consumed the western tower. Lugia attempted to use its power over wind to stop the flames, but this only put Ecruteak City itself in grave danger from the powerful gusts. Recognizing the threat, Lugia instead called upon rain to extinguish the blaze. Despite these efforts, it was too late. The brass tower burned to the ground, and during this catastrophic event, 3 nameless Pokémon trapped inside perished in the flames. The loss was devastating, and the people of Ecruteak mourned these innocent victims. But then, something miraculous happened. Ho-Oh, witnessing the tragedy and feeling the sorrow of the people and the lost Pokémon, descended from the bell tower. Using its incredible life-giving powers, Ho-Oh resurrected the 3 fallen Pokémon. But they didn't return as they were. They were reborn as entirely new beings, the legendary beasts Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Raikou embodied the lightning that struck the tower. Entei represented the fire that consumed it, and Suicune symbolized the rain that finally extinguished the flames. Each beast carried within it an aspect of the tower's destruction and rebirth. While this act of resurrection filled many with awe and wonder, it also sparked fear among the people. Ho-Oh's power to manipulate life and death itself was terrifying to some. This fear led to violence and persecution, and facing the aggression of the very people it had tried to help. Ho-Oh made a decision. It departed from the bell tower, flying off in search of a pure-hearted trainer worthy of its presence. The legendary beasts, rejected by humans who feared them, also fled, roaming freely across the Johto region. Lugia, its home destroyed and unwilling to risk harming others with its tremendous power, retreated to the Whirl Islands, isolating itself deep underwater, where its might couldn't accidentally cause destruction. The burned tower, as it came to be known, still stands in Ecruteak as a charred reminder of that tragic day. Trainers can visit the ruins, and it's said that the legendary beasts sometimes return to the place of their rebirth. The bell tower remained standing, but it became the Tin Tower, a place where only trainers who proved themselves worthy could ascend to potentially encounter the legendary Pokémon that once called it home. No discussion of Johto's mysteries would be complete without diving deeper into the Ruins of Alph and the Unown themselves. The ruins remain one of the most enigmatic locations in the entire Pokémon world. Today, the site is a major point of interest for archaeologists and tourists alike, with researchers constantly working to uncover more secrets about the ancient civilization and the Pokémon they protected. The Unown are unlike any other Pokémon species. Each individual Unown takes the form of a different letter of the alphabet, 26 distinct forms corresponding to A through Z, plus 2 additional forms representing an exclamation point and question mark that were discovered later. Their flat, thin bodies seem designed to stick to walls and surfaces, and ancient texts found within the ruins suggest they possess the power to sense with their minds and reject outside interference. The Pokédex entries for Unown raise more questions than they answer. They note that the Pokémon's shapes look like hieroglyphs on ancient tablets, and question whether the unknown or the writing system came first. Research into this topic has been ongoing for generations, but no conclusive answer has been found. Were the unknown inspired by human writing, or did humans model their alphabet after these mysterious Pokémon? The relationship between the two remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the Pokémon world. When alone, an individual Unown appears to do nothing of particular note. But when two or more Unown gather together, something strange happens. They seem to communicate telepathically, and an odd power begins to emerge. In large groups, Unown have demonstrated reality warping abilities that defy explanation. This power connects them to creation itself, linking back to Arceus and the fundamental forces that shaped the Pokémon universe. It's no wonder the ancient people viewed them with such reverence. The ruins themselves contain 4 chambers, each housing a slide puzzle that depicts a different ancient Pokémon: Kabuto, Aerodactyl, Omanite, and Ho-Oh. These puzzles serve as the keys to summoning the unknown into the ruins' main hall. Solving a puzzle causes the floor beneath the trainer to collapse, dropping them into underground chambers where unknown begin to appear. Each puzzle unlocks a specific subset of unknown forms. The Kabuto puzzle unlocks 10 different letter forms, Aerodactyl unlocks 5, Omanite unlocks 5, and the Ho-Oh puzzle unlocks the special question mark, exclamation point, and the elusive Z form. But that's not all these chambers hold. Each puzzle room contains a hidden secret, a cryptic word written on the far wall that provides a clue to unlock a secret chamber. In the Kabuto room, the word escape hints that using an escape rope will reveal a hidden passage. The Aerodactyl room's word light suggests using flash to illuminate a secret door. The Ho-Oh room simply has the Pokémon's name, and the player must interact with a plaque. The Omanite room requires water and rock smash to access. Each hidden chamber contains valuable items and another mystery: passages written in unknown characters that provide glimpses into the thoughts and beliefs of the ancient civilization. These messages speak of coexistence, of the ancient people's belief that humans and Pokémon must walk together, of the power of words remaining for the ages, and of the unknown's ability to sense minds and reject outsiders. They're fragments of an ancient philosophy, clues to understanding a culture that vanished centuries ago, but left an indelible mark on Johto. If trainers tune their Pokégear radio to a specific frequency while inside the ruins, they can hear mysterious transmissions, strange, otherworldly sounds that add to the location's eerie atmosphere. Some of these transmissions are actually distorted cries of Ho-Oh, while others resemble the melody of the azure flute, the legendary instrument said to summon Arceus itself. Even in the modern age, the ruins continue to hold secrets. Johto's geography tells its own story about the region's character and history. Like its neighbor Kanto, Johto enjoys a temperate climate, though it experiences notably wetter conditions than the region to its east. This additional rainfall contributes to Johto's lush landscapes and agricultural abundance. Where Kanto leans toward urban development and modernization, Johto maintains a distinctly rural character across much of its territory. The region's western and southern borders open to vast expanses of water. Caernwood City, one of Johto's most remote settlements, is most likely located on an entirely separate landmass, accessible only by Pokémon capable of using surf to traverse the ocean. This isolation gives Caernwood a unique culture and makes it a destination for trainers seeking to test themselves against Chuck, the fighting-type gym leader who has dedicated himself to rigorous training. The western portions of Johto are characterized by low-lying, heavily forested areas that contain the majority of the region's population. These forests aren't just scenic. They're home to diverse ecosystems and Pokémon populations. The Ilex Forest, for instance, is considered one of the purest natural areas in Johto, a place where the Pokémon Celebi is said to appear during times of peace. The eastern half of the region presents a stark contrast. A massive mountain range dominates this area, creating a natural barrier between Johto and Kanto. These mountains aren't easy to traverse. They're rugged, dangerous, and home to some of the most powerful wild Pokémon in either region. Mount Silver, the tallest and most treacherous of these peaks, serves as the ultimate challenge for trainers. At its summit, in the harshest conditions imaginable, the legendary trainer Red waits, having isolated himself in training. The presence of such a formidable trainer atop this mountain may reference the Japanese deity Kuni no Tokotachi, who was said to have lived atop Mount Fuji and was born from a reed shoot growing between heaven and earth. Just as Red rose from humble beginnings to become champion. Nestled deep within these eastern mountains lies Blackthorn City, a settlement with a unique purpose. This city is famous throughout the Pokémon world as a haven for dragon tamers and home to the Blackthorn Gym, where Claire, one of the most skilled dragon-type specialists, tests challengers. The city's isolation and harsh mountainous environment seem to foster the strength and determination necessary for training dragon-type Pokémon. The settlements of Johto each have their own distinct character, and there's a pattern to their names that Pokémon fans have come to appreciate. Where Kanto's towns and cities were named after colors, Johto's locations take their names from plants and trees, with a few exceptions. This botanical naming scheme reflects the region's connection to nature and tradition. New Bark Town serves as the starting point for every trainer's Johto journey. It's a quiet, small town that embodies the peaceful, rural character of the region. Professor Elm's laboratory is located here, where he conducts research on Pokémon evolution and breeding. It's from Professor Elm that new trainers receive one of the 3 Johto starter Pokémon: Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile. The town is based on a combination of the Japanese cities of Shizuoka and Hamamatsu, modest locations that serve as perfect starting points for grand adventures. Cherry Grove City is typically the first city trainers encounter after leaving New Bark Town. It's a small coastal settlement that offers a gentle introduction to urban life in Johto. The city may be based on Toyohashi, a Japanese city famous for its flower gardens and festivals. It's here that many trainers have their first encounter with their rival, a red-haired boy who has stolen one of Professor Elm's Pokémon and displays a harsh attitude toward his Pokémon and others. Violet City presents a striking introduction to Johto's traditional architecture. The city is dominated by Sprout Tower, a magnificent four-story structure dedicated to the gentle nature of Bellsprout. The tower's most remarkable feature is its central pillar, a massive spine-like column that sways and moves with the building. Legend says this pillar was once a 100-foot-tall Bellsprout, and its flexibility protects the tower from earthquakes. Inside, monks train their Bellsprout and teach that all living beings can coexist through cooperation. The city also hosts Johto's first gym, where Faulkner, son of the previous gym leader, specializes in flying-type Pokémon. Azalea Town is a small settlement surrounded by dense forest, including the entrance to Slowpoke Well. This town has a special connection to Slowpoke. The locals revere these Pokémon as bringers of rain, and the well itself is considered sacred. When Team Rocket attempts to harvest Slowpoke tails for profit, the townspeople are horrified at such disrespect toward these beloved Pokémon. The town is also home to Kurt, a master craftsman who creates special Pokéballs from apricorns, continuing a traditional method of Pokéball production that predates modern mass manufacturing. Goldenrod City stands as the crown jewel of modern Johto. This massive metropolis, found in the heart of the region on the coast, represents the technological, industrial, and economic center of Johto. The city is ultra-modern, with towering buildings, a massive department store, a radio tower, underground shopping centers, and countless other facilities. It's based on Osaka, Japan's second-largest metropolitan area and a major commercial hub. The contrast between Goldenrod's gleaming modernity and the traditional towns surrounding it perfectly encapsulates Johto's blend of old and new. Whitney, the city's gym leader, is famous, or perhaps infamous, among trainers for her powerhouse Miltank, which has ended countless challengers' winning streaks with its rollout attack. Ecruteak City might be the spiritual heart of Johto. Based on Kyoto, Japan's ancient capital and cultural center, Ecruteak is steeped in history and tradition. The city is home to both the Bell Tower and the Burned Tower, constant reminders of the region's legendary past. The Kimono Girls perform their traditional dances here, maintaining ancient rituals passed down through generations. The city's architecture evokes old Japan, with traditional buildings and a reverent atmosphere. Morty, the ghost-type gym leader, studies here, seeking to understand the connection between humans and Pokémon through his research into ghost types and legendary Pokémon. Olivine City is Johto's major port, connecting the region to other lands via sea travel. The city is built around its lighthouse, a beacon that guides ships safely to harbor. The lighthouse keeper's Ampharos serves as the light source, but during the player's visit, the Pokémon has fallen ill, leading to a quest to help it. Jasmine, The Steel-type gym leader tends to the sick Ampharos with deep care, demonstrating the bond between trainer and Pokémon. The city also hosts the SS Aqua, which can transport trainers to Vermilion City in Kanto. Cianwood City, isolated across the sea, has developed a unique culture focused on physical training and martial arts. Chuck, the gym leader, embodies this philosophy, training constantly alongside his fighting-type Pokémon. The city is also home to the legendary Pokémon Suicune, which has been spotted near the city's shores. Getting to Cianwood requires a Pokémon capable of surf, making it inaccessible until later in a trainer's journey. Mahogany Town is a small settlement nestled in the mountains, serving as a gateway to the Lake of Rage. The town has a suspicious presence. What appears to be a souvenir shop is actually a secret Team Rocket base. The town is also home to Price, the Ice-type gym leader, one of the oldest gym leaders in the region, and a master of his type. The cold mountain climate makes Mahogany an ideal place for Ice-type training. Blackthorn City, as mentioned, is famous for its dragon tamers. The Dragon's Den, a cave behind the city, serves as a training ground and sacred space for dragon-type specialists. Trainers must prove themselves worthy in the eyes of the Dragon Clan's elders to earn Claire's badge, demonstrating not just strength but character and understanding. The 100 new Pokémon introduced in Generation 2 transformed our understanding of the Pokémon world. These weren't just random additions. Many had deep connections to existing Pokémon, introducing evolution branches, baby forms, and entirely new evolutionary lines that filled ecological and strategic niches. Let's start with the starters, as they're often the most memorable Pokémon from any region. Chikorita, the grass-type starter, is characterized by its leaf-shaped protrusion and gentle nature. Despite being adorable and having a loyal fanbase, Chikorita is often considered the most challenging starter for new players. This isn't because Chikorita is weak, its evolutionary line has solid defensive stats, but because many early gym leaders in Johto specialize in types that resist or are strong against grass. Faulkner's flying types and Bugsy's bug types both pose significant challenges. Chikorita evolves into Bayleaf at level 16 and then into Meganium at level 32. Meganium's distinctive appearance, with the large flower petals around its neck, makes it one of the most recognizable, fully evolved starters. While it may not have the raw offensive power of other final evolution starters, Meganium excels as a support Pokémon with access to healing moves and status effects. Cyndaquil, the fire-type starter, is beloved by fans for good reason. This small, timid Pokémon has flamesmuzz that emerge from its back when startled or agitated, a defense mechanism that hints at the power it will later possess. Cyndaquil evolves into Kilava at level 14, developing a more aggressive appearance and stronger flames. At level 36, it becomes Typhlosion, a formidable special attacker with impressive speed. Typhlosion's signature Blaze ability boosts its fire-type moves when its health is low, allowing for devastating comebacks. Many trainers consider Cyndaquil the optimal choice for a first playthrough of Gold, Silver, or Crystal, as fire types are relatively rare in Johto, and Cyndaquil's evolutionary line handles many gym leaders effectively. Totodile, the water-type starter, is pure joy personified. This playful, energetic crocodile Pokémon has sharp teeth and a mischievous streak. It loves to play and bite, though its jaws are powerful enough to cause real damage. Totodile evolves into Croconaw at level 18, gaining size and ferocity. At level 30, it becomes Feraligatr, a powerhouse physical attacker with balanced defensive stats. Feraligatr's versatility is one of its greatest strengths. It can learn a wide variety of moves, including ice-type attacks that give it coverage against grass types and dragon types. Many players consider Totodile the most reliable starter for completing the game, as water types are always useful and Feraligatr's strength carries teams through tough battles. The introduction of baby Pokémon was one of Generation 2's most significant innovations. These pre-evolutions added depth to existing Pokémon families and introduced the breeding mechanic. Pichu, the pre-evolution of Pikachu, can only be obtained by breeding Pikachu or Raichu at the daycare. This tiny electric mouse Pokémon is adorable but fragile, requiring friendship and care to evolve into Pikachu. Clefairy and Igglybuff similarly serve as baby forms for Clefairy and Jigglypuff, obtained through breeding. Togepi introduced many players to the concept of hatching Pokémon from eggs. It's given to players as an egg early in their journey, and raising it teaches valuable lessons about Pokémon care. Smoochum, Elekid, and Magby serve as pre-evolutions for Jynx, Electabuzz, and Magmar, respectively. These baby Pokémon made their fully evolved forms more accessible through breeding while adding cute designs that appeal to players who might not have used the originals. Tyrogue introduced something entirely new, a branched evolution system determined by its stats. Depending on whether its attack is higher, its defense is higher, or they're equal, Tyrogue will evolve into Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, or the new Hitmontop at level 20. Azurill and Wynaut came later, but continue this baby Pokémon tradition for Marill and Wobbuffet, respectively. These pre-evolutions require special incense items when breeding, adding another layer to the breeding system. The baby Pokémon concept proved so popular that future generations would continue adding more. Crobat represents one of the most significant evolutionary additions to Johto. Zubat and Golbat were common in Kanto, but Golbat always felt incomplete. It was clearly meant to evolve further. Crobat rewarded that intuition, evolving from Golbat when it has high friendship with its trainer. This evolution through friendship was revolutionary, introducing a mechanic that would become increasingly important. Crobat's sleek design, with its additional set of wings and incredible speed, made it a popular team member. The split evolutions of Eevee expanded one of Generation 1's most beloved concepts. Eevee could previously evolve into Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon through the use of elemental stones. Johto introduced two new possibilities, Espeon and Umbreon. These evolved based on the time of day when Eevee reached maximum friendship. Espeon, the psychic type, appears when Eevee evolves during the day. while Umbreon, the dark type, emerges from nighttime evolution. This time-based mechanic tied into Johto's day and night cycle, one of the generation's signature features. Both Espeon and Umbreon became instant favorites. Espeon for its graceful design and powerful special attack, Umbreon for its sleek appearance and incredible defensive stats. Scizor demonstrated another evolutionary innovation. Scyther, the mantis Pokémon from Kanto, could now evolve by being traded while holding a metal coat. This trade evolution with an item requirement added complexity to the evolution system. Scizor's transformation was dramatic. Its bug, flying typing changed to bug, steel, trading flying's weaknesses for steel's incredible resistances. Scizor's bright red coloration and powerful pincers made it visually distinct from its pre-evolution, and its competitive viability ensured it would remain popular for years. Steelix similarly evolved from Onyx through trade while holding a metal coat. This evolution addressed a long-time issue. Onyx looked incredibly intimidating, but had surprisingly weak stats. Steelix fixed this, providing massive defense that made it a physical wall capable of withstanding tremendous punishment. Its steel ground typing gave it an interesting mix of resistances and weaknesses, and its appearance, like a serpent made of iron boulders, perfectly captured the steel type's aesthetic. Politoed offered Poliwhirl an alternative evolution path. Instead of using a water stone to become Poliwrath, trainers could trade Poliwhirl holding a King's Rock to obtain Politoed. This cheerful, toad-like Pokémon brought a different playstyle than Poliwrath, focusing more on special attack and support moves. The split evolution showed that not all Pokémon have a single evolutionary destiny. Slowking provided a similar alternative for Slowpoke. Trading it with a King's Rock led to this regal evolution rather than the familiar Slowbro. Slowking's appearance, with the Shelder crown on its head rather than on its tail, suggested higher intelligence and special capabilities. The Pokédex describes Slowking as incredibly intelligent when the Shelder is attached, capable of solving complex problems and even understanding human speech. Blossom gave Gloom a sunnier disposition than Vileplume. Using a Sunstone on Gloom results in this grass-type Pokémon that performs beautiful dances. Blossom sacrificed the poison typing and some stats for a more cheerful design and a focus on grass-type power. The evolution represented how different environments and stimuli could lead to vastly different results. Kingdra completed Seadra's evolution, achieved by trading it with a dragon scale. This transformation was dramatic. Kingdra gained the dragon type, making it Water Dragon. This typing is incredibly powerful defensively, with only dragon and fairy moves being super effective. Kingdra's sleek, powerful design matched its new status as one of the ocean's apex predators. Porygon 2 updated the virtual Pokémon for a new generation. Trading Porygon with an upgrade evolved it into this enhanced version, representing technological advancement. Where Porygon was angular and simplistic, Porygon 2 was smoother and more advanced, with improved stats across the board. The legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, are among the most iconic legendary Pokémon ever created. Their designs brilliantly capture their elemental affinities and feline characteristics. Raikou, the thunder Pokémon, resembles a saber-toothed tiger crossed with lightning itself. Purple and yellow coloring, a cloud-like mane, and angular features make it look like a storm given physical form. Its electric typing and incredible special attack made it a fearsome opponent, and its ability to roam freely across Johto made encounters with it rare and special. Entei, the volcano Pokémon, embodies the fire that consumed the brass tower. Its design suggests a lion or mastiff with brown fur, a flowing smoke-like mane, and intense eyes. Entei's fire typing and powerful attack stat made it the physical attacker of the trio. The Pokédex states that a new Entei is born whenever a new volcano forms, suggesting these legendary beasts aren't unique individuals, but rather manifestations of natural forces. When Entei barks, a volcano erupts, a testament to its incredible power. Suicune, the Aurora Pokémon, is often considered the most majestic of the three beasts. Its design evokes a leopard or panther with flowing purple manes that resemble both water and the northern lights. Suicune represents the rain that extinguished the brass tower's flames, and it has the power to purify polluted water instantly. Unlike Raikou and Entei, which roam randomly across Johto, Suicune appears at specific locations throughout the player's journey, almost as if it's observing and testing the trainer. In Crystal and the HeartGold SoulSilver remakes, players eventually battle Suicune directly, making it the most accessible of the three beasts. Suicune shares a special cooperative bond with the Unown, another mystery of Johto's legendary Pokémon. The question of what these three Pokémon were before Ho-Oh resurrected them has sparked decades of speculation. Official sources differ on whether they were already Raikou, Entei, and Suicune when they died, or if they were three different Pokémon that Ho-Oh reincarnated in new forms. Popular fan theories suggest they might have been Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. This theory is supported by the similar typings, the fact that all three are quadrupedal mammals, and that the monks guarding the bell tower in Crystal version use evolutions. Additionally, the evolutions share similar stat distributions and battle roles with their legendary counterparts. However, this remains speculation, as no official source has confirmed what the three Pokémon originally were. Lugia and Ho-Oh, the tower duo, represent one of the most elegant examples of duality in the Pokémon world. These two legendary Pokémon embody opposing yet complementary forces, drawing from deep mythological roots. Ho-Oh is based on the Feng Huang, a phoenix-like bird from Chinese mythology that represents immortality, rebirth, and grace. In Japanese tradition, it's known as the Hu, and it's associated with the sun, prosperity, and peace. Ho-Oh's fire, flying typing, and rainbow-colored feathers reflect these themes. Its signature move, Sacred Fire, can burn opponents while also having a high critical hit ratio, representing both destructive and purifying flames. The legend says Ho-Oh's feathers bring eternal happiness to those who hold them, and seeing Ho-Oh is considered a sign of good fortune. Ho-Oh was the first legendary Pokémon ever shown in the anime. It appeared at the end of the very first episode, flying over a rainbow as Ash began his journey. This moment was significant because Ho-Oh wasn't officially revealed yet, making it a mystery that wouldn't be solved until Gold and Silver's release. The Rainbow Wing and its connection to Ho-Oh became central to the plot of various Pokémon media, including the movie I Choose You. Lugia presents a fascinating contrast to Ho-Oh. While Ho-Oh is associated with the sun, fire, and rebirth, Lugia embodies the moon, water, and preservation. Lugia's design draws from Japanese dragons, particularly the Ryujin, the dragon god of the sea. Its psychic Sausage flying typing reflects its mental power and aerial grace, while its connection to the ocean defines its role as guardian of the seas. Lugia's signature move, Aeroblast, is a devastating special attack that has a high critical hit ratio, capable of tearing through opponents with focused air pressure. The legend of Lugia describes it as so powerful that a simple flapping of its wings can cause storms lasting 40 days. This immense power is why Lugia chose to isolate itself in the Whirl Islands after the Brass Tower's destruction. It couldn't risk accidentally harming people or Pokémon with its tremendous strength. The Whirl Islands are perpetually battered by strong currents and whirlpools, possibly as a result of Lugia's presence. To reach Lugia, trainers need the Silver Wing, proof that they've been deemed worthy to approach this reclusive guardian. In the games, Ho-Oh appears in Gold and HeartGold at the Bell Tower, while Lugia appears in Silver and SoulSilver in the Whirl Islands. This division reflects their roles as version mascots, but the Crystal version and its remake allowed players to encounter both, acknowledging their interconnected mythology. The two legendaries represent balance. Neither is inherently superior, but together they maintain harmony between opposing forces. Celebi, the time-travel Pokémon, is perhaps Johto's most enigmatic legendary. This small, fairy-like grass psychic type is said to travel through time, bringing with it the vitality of the forest. Celebi only appears during times of peace, and its presence causes plants to flourish and vegetation to grow rapidly. The Ilex Forest, one of Johto's most pristine natural locations, is where Celebi is most likely to appear. The shrine within the forest is dedicated to this mythical Pokémon, and the Forest Guardian protects it from those with ill intentions. Celebi's ability to travel through time makes it unique even among legendary Pokémon. It can journey to different eras, potentially explaining how it maintains forests across time periods. This time-traveling nature became central to Pokémon Forever, where Celebi transports both itself and a young boy named Sammy 40 years into the future. The movie revealed that Sammy was actually Professor Oak as a child, creating a poignant connection between past and present. As a mythical Pokémon, Celebi has traditionally been available only through special events and distributions, making it one of the rarest Pokémon to obtain. Its adorable appearance, combined with its incredible powers and mysterious nature, has made Celebi a fan favorite. The GS Ball, a mysterious item from the anime that was never fully explained in the international version, was actually intended to contain Celebi, serving as a connection between the games and the show. Among the new Pokémon introduced, several deserve special mention for their unique characteristics and impact on gameplay. Wobbuffet stands out as one of the strangest creatures in the entire Pokédex. This patient Pokémon doesn't learn any attacking moves naturally. Instead, it specializes in counterattacks. Its moves Counter and Mirror Coat allow it to return physical and special attacks respectively with doubled power, while Safeguard protects it from status conditions, and Destiny Bond ensures that if Wobbuffet faints, its opponent does too. This unconventional battle style made Wobbuffet surprisingly powerful in competitive play, to the point where it was banned to the Ubers tier in some formats. The introduction of Wobbuffet's pre-evolution, Wynaught, revealed something interesting about Wobbuffet's design. The black tail with eyes that most people assumed was just part of Wobbuffet's design is actually the true body, while the blue body is a decoy designed to protect the sensitive tail. Smeargle represents one of the most creative Pokémon designs in terms of battle mechanics. This normal type painter Pokémon has access to only one move naturally, Sketch. However, Sketch allows Smeargle to permanently learn any move used by an opponent, and it can sketch once per battle. This means a trained Smeargle can have absolutely any combination of 4 moves in the whole entire game, making it one of the most versatile Pokémon ever created. Players have used Smeargle for everything from catching legendary Pokémon to creating unconventional competitive strategies. Its design, featuring a beret-like growth and a tail tipped with paint, perfectly captures its artistic nature. Heracross became an instant favorite among bug-type enthusiasts. This powerful bug/fighting type resembles a rhinoceros beetle, one of the largest and most impressive insects in the world. Heracross can be found headbutting trees in Johto's roots, and catching one requires patience and luck. Its incredible attack stat, combined with access to powerful moves like Megahorn and close combat, made it a competitive powerhouse. The Pokédex describes Heracross as gentle, normally but incredibly strong when defending its territory, capable of throwing opponents many times its size. Houndour and Houndoom brought dark-type representation to Johto with their dark fire typing. These canine Pokémon resemble hellhounds from mythology, with Houndoom's design featuring horns, a devil tail, and an overall demonic appearance. The Pokédex entries describe Houndoom's flames as causing burns that never heal, and its howls inspire dread in those who hear them. Despite their fearsome appearance and reputation, Houndour and Houndoom can be loyal companions, representing the idea that even dark Pokémon aren't inherently evil. Tyranitar stands as one of the most imposing Pokémon ever created. This rock dark type pseudo-legendary has incredible stats, with particularly strong attack and defense. Its design suggests a dinosaur mixed with Godzilla, which is appropriate given that Tyranitar's behavior mirrors kaiju monsters. It's said to be so powerful and destructive that it can bring down mountains and change landscapes. Tyranitar evolves from Larvitar at level 30 and then Pupitar at level 55, requiring significant investment, but the result is worth it. As Johto's signature pseudo-legendary, Tyranitar competed with Dragonite from Kanto for the title of most powerful non-legendary Pokémon. The evolution line of Mareep, Flaffy, and Ampharos became beloved for both its usefulness and charm. Mareep is an adorable sheep Pokémon, whose wool stores electricity, growing more charged as the wool accumulates. Flaffy sheds most of this wool, revealing pink skin and concentrating its electrical power. Ampharos completes the evolution at level 30, becoming a powerful lighthouse-like beacon. The Olivine Lighthouse's Ampharos perfectly demonstrates this species' role. Ampharos's light is so bright, it can be seen from incredible distances, making it ideal for guiding ships. Ampharos's special attack and bulk made it a reliable team member throughout any Johto journey. Sudowoodo represents one of Johto's cleverest designs. This rock-type Pokémon disguises itself as a tree, blocking roots until the player uses a squirt bottle to reveal its true nature. The name Sudowoodo is a play on pseudo-wood, and despite appearances, it's weak to water like any rock type. Sudowoodo's deception extends to its behavior. It's so committed to the disguise that it avoids water to maintain the illusion, even though this contradicts what real trees need. The concept of a Pokémon using mimicry to this extent was novel, and Sudowoodo's goofy appearance when it's forced to move makes encounters with it memorable. Sneasel introduced the Dark Ice type combination, creating a fast, offensive Pokémon that lurked in icy caves. Its sharp claws and feathers give it a distinctive appearance, and the Pokédex describes it as vicious and cunning, working in groups to hunt. Sneasel later received an evolution in Generation 4 with Weavile, but even on its own, Sneasel was a valuable addition to teams tackling the Elite Four, particularly given its advantages against Lance's dragon types. Teddiursa and Ursaring form a simple but effective evolutionary line. These bear Pokémon are found in various Johto routes, with Teddiursa being adorable and Ursaring being fearsome. Ursaring's high attack stat and decent move pool made it a solid choice for physical attackers. The Pokédex describes Ursaring as extremely territorial and dangerous when protecting Teddiursa, which are often found marking trees with their crescent moon markings. Delibird stands out as one of the most thematically strong Pokémon. This ice-flying type resembles a penguin dressed as Santa Claus, complete with a tail that looks like a gift sack. Delibird's signature move, Present, is as unpredictable as opening a gift. It can deal varying amounts of damage or actually heal the opponent. While not particularly powerful in battle, Delibird's charm and holiday theme have made it a seasonal favorite. Skarmory brought much-needed representation to the Steel-type category with its Steel-flying typing. This armored bird Pokémon has incredible defense, making it an exceptional physical wall. Its design, featuring sharp metallic feathers and plating, suggests both a bird and a suit of armor. Skarmory can be found on Route 45 near Blackthorn City, and despite the late-game encounter, many trainers consider it worth the effort to add to their teams. In competitive play, Skarmory became famous for its ability to set up hazards and switch into physical attackers with impunity. Mantine and its pre-evolution Mantike represent the elegant rays of the ocean. Mantine's water, flying typing reflects its ability to soar through both water and air, while its large, wing-like fins allow it to glide above the waves. Remoraid often attach themselves to Mantine, creating a symbiotic relationship where the Remoraid get transportation while Mantine gains protection. This relationship mirrors real-world interactions between manta rays and smaller fish. Phanpy and Donphan form an evolutionary line based on elephants, with Donphan taking particular inspiration from tire-shaped designs. Donphan's ability to curl into a wheel and roll at high speeds made it memorable in the anime, and its ground typing with high attack and defense stats made it valuable in gameplay. The Pokédex describes Donphan as incredibly strong despite its size, capable of easily knocking over houses by charging. Stantler brought a normal-type deer Pokémon to Johto, notable for its reality-warping antlers. According to the Pokédex, staring at Stantler's antlers can cause hallucinations and spatial distortions. This seemingly ordinary-looking Pokémon has one of the most bizarre abilities in the Pokédex, suggesting that not all powerful Pokémon need to look intimidating. Miltank became famous, or infamous, for being Whitney's ace in Goldenrod Gym. This normal-type cow Pokémon has balanced stats with a focus on bulk and sustain. Its rollout attack, combined with defense curl, could snowball into an unstoppable force that demolished unprepared teams. Miltank's milk drink allowed it to heal itself, making it frustrating to defeat. Outside of Whitney's gym, Miltank is useful for its ability to produce Moo Moo milk, a cost-effective healing item. Despite its reputation as a difficulty spike, Miltank's design is charming, representing the agricultural side of Johto. Johto introduced breeding as a core mechanic, fundamentally changing how players interacted with Pokémon. The daycare on Route 34 allows trainers to leave two compatible Pokémon, and if conditions are right, an egg appears. This system introduced several important concepts. Individual values could be passed down, nature affected stat growth, and certain Pokémon could only be obtained through breeding. The breeding mechanic also explained where baby Pokémon came from and allowed trainers to obtain Pokémon with egg moves, special techniques that couldn't be learned through normal leveling. This breeding system connected to real-world biology while maintaining Pokémon's fantastical elements. Pokémon eggs weren't exactly like bird or reptile eggs. They appeared almost mystically, and the daycare man admitted he didn't know where they came from. This deliberate vagueness preserved the mystery of Pokémon reproduction while giving players a practical system to work with. The Pokégear became an essential tool for Johto trainers, replacing Kanto's simpler item system with a multifunctional device. The Pokégear served as a phone, allowing trainers to receive calls from NPCs offering rematches, tips, or items. It included a radio function that played various stations, some of which had in-game effects. The famous Poke Flute station could wake sleeping Pokémon, while other stations provided news, music, or even increased wild encounter rates. The Pokegear's map function helped navigation, and later versions added additional features. This device represented Johto's blend of traditional culture with modern technology. Apricorns and the Pokeballs. Kurt crafts from them represent an ancient tradition of Pokémon catching. Before mass-produced Pokeballs became standard, craftsmen like Kurt created custom balls from apricorns, colorful fruits that grow on apricorn trees throughout Johto. Different colored apricorns produce different specialty balls. White apricorns make fast balls that work well on speedy Pokémon. Red apricorns create level balls effective against lower-level Pokémon. Blue apricorns produce lure balls for fishing, and so on. This system added depth to catching Pokémon and highlighted Johto's connection to traditional craftsmanship. Kurt's role as the last master of this art form emphasizes how rare these skills have become in an age of industrial production. The introduction of held items changed Pokémon battles significantly. Pokémon could now hold berries that heal them automatically, type-boosting items that increase move power, or evolutionary items that trigger specific evolutions. This system added strategic depth. Players had to decide whether their Pokémon should hold an item for immediate battle benefit or save their item slot for an evolutionary requirement. Items like leftovers, which restore a small amount of HP each turn, became competitively valuable, while items like Choice Band, introduced later, would create entirely new strategic archetypes. Dark-type and Steel-type were introduced in Generation 2, fundamentally rebalancing the type chart. Dark-type was specifically created to counter the dominance of Psychic types from Generation 1. Dark-type moves are super effective against Psychic and Ghost types, while being immune to Psychic-type attacks. This gave previously disadvantaged Pokémon new tools to combat Psychic types that had been overpowered in Red, Blue, and Yellow. Umbreon, Tyranitar, Houndoom, and others showcased this new type's potential. Steel-type brought incredible defensive capabilities. Steel resists a remarkable number of types while being immune to poison, making Steel types exceptional defensive pivots. However, Steel types have clear weaknesses to fighting, ground, and fire, preventing them from being overwhelmingly powerful. Steelix, Scizor, Skarmory, and Forretress demonstrated Steel type's versatility. It could be paired with nearly any other type to create interesting combinations. The day and night cycle introduced in Gold and Silver was revolutionary for its time. Different Pokémon appear during different times of day, encouraging players to explore at various hours. Some evolution methods require specific times, Eevee's split evolutions into Espeon and Umbreon being the prime example. The atmosphere changes too. Nighttime music is often more subdued and mysterious, while daytime themes are energetic. This cycle added realism and variety, making Johto feel like a living region with rhythms and patterns. The week system expanded on this, with certain events and encounters only occurring on specific days. The bug catching contest happens on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays encouraging players to return regularly. Some NPC only appear on certain days, and phone calls from trainer rematches follow schedules. This system encouraged long-term engagement with the game, rewarding players who checked in regularly. Friendship evolution mechanics introduced in Johto added emotional depth to training. Pokémon like Crobat, Espeon, and Umbreon only evolved when they deeply trusted their trainers, measured through the hidden friendship stat. This mechanic reinforced the series' core message about bonds between trainers and Pokémon being the source of true strength. Players couldn't rush these evolutions. They required time, care, and positive experiences, teaching patience and thoughtfulness. Shiny Pokémon's introduction added a new layer of rarity and collecting to the series. The guaranteed Red Gyarados encounter at Lake of Rage introduced players to this concept, but finding other shinies required incredible luck. The different coloration made shinies immediately visible in battle, and their rarity made them prized possessions. Shiny hunting would later become a major aspect of Pokémon gameplay, but Johto planted the seeds of this phenomenon. The Pokerus mechanic, while poorly explained in-game, provided dedicated trainers with significant advantages. This beneficial virus doubled EV gains from battles, allowing faster stat optimization for competitive Pokémon. The rarity of Pokerus, even rarer than shiny encounters, made infected Pokémon special. The mechanic's existence added another hidden depth layer for players who sought to fully understand the game's systems. The rival Silver's character arc from Angry Thief to Understanding Trainer provided one of the series' most compelling character developments. His initial theft of his starter and harsh treatment of Pokémon established him as genuinely antagonistic. Repeated defeats by the player, combined with observations of Lance's power born from partnership, gradually changed his perspective. His eventual possession of a Crobat, possible only through high friendship, proved his transformation. The revelation of his parentage as Giovanni's son added tragic context to his anger and made his redemption more meaningful. Lance's dual role as Kanto Johto champion and Dragon Master investigating Team Rocket's activities showed legendary trainers remain active in protecting their regions. His intervention at the Lake of Rage and Rocket hideout demonstrated that being champion involves responsibility beyond simply holding a title. Lance's preference for dragon types, despite their rarity and difficulty to train, reflected his exceptional skill and dedication. The gym leaders of Johto each have distinct personalities and philosophies. Faulkner follows in his father's footsteps as Violet City's flying-type specialist, though he struggles with living up to his father's reputation. Bugsy is a young prodigy who became Azalea's gym leader despite his age, demonstrating that talent and dedication matter more than experience. Whitney is emotional and passionate, crying when defeated but quickly recovering to congratulate challengers. Morty seeks understanding of legendary Pokémon, particularly Ho-Oh, believing this knowledge will deepen his connection with ghost types. Chuck trains relentlessly with his fighting types, believing physical and mental discipline create perfect harmony. Jasmine is gentle and caring, showing her compassion through her dedication to the sick Ampharos. Price is cold and distant, his personality shaped by a traumatic event in his past involving a lost Pokémon. Claire is proud and initially refuses to give challengers their badge until her grandfather mediates, showing her struggle with ego and tradition. Team Rocket's resurrection in Johto shows an organization desperately trying to reclaim past glory. 3 years after Giovanni disbanded Team Rocket following his defeat by Red, the remaining executives attempted to contact Giovanni and convince him to return. Their broadcast from the Goldenrod radio tower served dual purposes. Publicly, they hoped Giovanni would hear and come back. But it also forced Pokémon to evolve, creating chaos and demonstrating power. The plan failed, and one executive finally accepted that Giovanni wouldn't return, choosing to disband Team Rocket permanently. This arc provided closure to the Team Rocket storyline while showing how dangerous clinging to the past can be. Professor Elm and Professor Oak's connection creates academic continuity between regions. Elm's research focuses on Pokémon evolution and breeding, building on Oak's foundational work on Pokémon relationships with humans. This academic lineage suggests ongoing scientific progress in understanding Pokémon, and Elm's respect for Oak's work mirrors Johto's respect for Kanto's legacy. The professor's cooperation on the Pokédex project demonstrates how knowledge sharing benefits everyone. The Kimono Girls' traditional performances maintained cultural practices spanning generations. Their dances weren't mere entertainment. They were sacred rituals with real power to summon and commune with legendary Pokémon. The 5 sisters, each specializing in a different evolution, showcased the diversity possible even within a single Pokémon family. Their role as guardians of Johto's spiritual traditions positioned them as cultural preservationists in a modernizing region. Kurt's backstory with the Slowpoke and his mission to preserve traditional Pokeball crafting makes him one of Johto's most memorable NPCs. He represents the tension between tradition and progress. His methods are slower than industrial production, but result in unique, specialized balls that mass production can't replicate. His passion for his craft and anger at Team Rocket's cruelty make him immediately sympathetic. Mount Silver deserves its own discussion because it represents more than just location. It's a monument to achievement and perseverance. The mountain is the highest point in both Johto and Kanto, visible from multiple cities. Wild Pokémon on Mount Silver are extraordinarily high-leveled, far exceeding what trainers encounter elsewhere. This isn't an accident. The mountain filters out all but the most dedicated trainers. Reaching the summit requires mastery of multiple HM moves and the strength to battle through incredibly tough wild Pokémon. Mount Silver connects to Japanese cultural and religious traditions. Mountains in Japanese culture are often seen as sacred places where humans can commune with the divine or test themselves against nature. Mount Fuji, which inspired Mount Silver, is a pilgrimage site where climbing to the summit is seen as a spiritual journey. Red's presence at the peak positions him not just as a strong trainer, but as someone who has achieved enlightenment through isolation and training, becoming one with the mountain itself. Red's silent presence atop Mount Silver elevated him beyond a simple, strong trainer to mythical figure. His self-imposed isolation, incredibly high-level team, and refusal to speak created mystique. When players finally battle Red, they face one of the highest-leveled trainer teams in any Pokémon game. Red doesn't speak. He hasn't needed to speak in years. His silence adds to his mystique, and his team represents perfection. A fully evolved Kanto starter, Pikachu as his signature Pokémon, and a carefully balanced team of powerful Pokémon. Defeating Red represents the ultimate achievement in Johto, proving the player has surpassed even the legendary trainer. The inclusion of Kanto in Gold, Silver, and Crystal was unprecedented. No Pokémon game before or since has included an entire second region as post-game content. This decision demonstrated Game Freak's ambition and commitment to creating the definitive Pokémon experience. However, Kanto in these games is somewhat diminished from its red and blue incarnation. 3 years have passed, and some locations have changed or been simplified. This serves the narrative, showing how time affects even familiar places, but it also raises interesting questions about how the world continues evolving even when we're not there. The HeartGold and SoulSilver remakes, released in 2009 for the Nintendo DS, brought Johto into the modern era while preserving what made the original games special. These remakes added Pokémon following the player, a feature fans had wanted since Yellow version. Walking with Pokémon brought them out of their Pokéballs, making them visible companions rather than abstract data. Different Pokémon had unique behaviors. Some were timid, others energetic. Some preferred certain locations. Players could turn around and interact with their lead Pokémon, receiving messages about its happiness, the environment, or just its mood. The Pokéwalker accessory, bundled with HeartGold and SoulSilver, extended Pokémon training into the real world. Players could transfer a Pokémon to this pedometer device, earning experience and finding items as they walked in real life. This innovative accessory encouraged physical activity while allowing Pokémon training to continue even away from the game. The Pokéwalker featured different routes with unique Pokémon species, some exclusive to the device, making it valuable for completing the Pokédex beyond just its exercise benefits. The Pokéathlon, introduced in HeartGold and SoulSilver, provided an alternative to battles for showcasing Pokémon abilities. These Olympic-style competitions tested speed, skill, stamina, and other attributes through minigames. The Pokéathlon emphasized that Pokémon excellence isn't solely about combat power. Coordination, trust, and physical capabilities matter too. Different Pokémon species excelled at different events, encouraging players to appreciate Pokémon they might not typically use in battle. The Safari Zone in HeartGold and SoulSilver allowed customization. Players could arrange different habitat blocks to attract specific Pokémon species, then wait for Pokémon to move in over time. This customizable approach gave players agency in building their ideal catching location, while requiring patience and planning. The Sinnoh Ruins event connecting Johto to Sinnoh's creation mythology revealed deep cosmological connections. The event, triggered by bringing Arceus to the Ruins of Alph, transported players to ruins combining Johto and Sinnoh architectural elements. Arceus demonstrating its power to create Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina, while Unown facilitate the process suggested fundamental links between these Pokémon and reality's structure. This revelation suggested Arceus and Unown share fundamental connections to creation itself. The Unown's role in this event, they facilitate the creation process, implied they're more than simple Pokémon. They might be fragments of creation itself, alphabet letters that write reality into existence. Johto's legacy extending through remakes, references in later generations, and persistent fan love demonstrates its enduring appeal. The region's influence on game design regarding legendary encounters, post-game content, and regional connections shaped every subsequent Pokémon game. References to Johto appear in later generations through migrated Pokémon, returning characters, and mythological connections. The emotional resonance of Johto stems from its perfect balance. It expanded Kanto's foundation without abandoning it. It introduced complexity without becoming inaccessible. It honored tradition while embracing innovation. It provided familiar comfort while surprising with discoveries. This balance created a cohesive experience, feeling simultaneously nostalgic and fresh. Johto teaches universal lessons about growth, balance, and respect. The region shows strength comes from bonds, not cruelty. Silver's transformation from cruel thief to caring trainer demonstrates this perfectly. It demonstrates tradition and progress can coexist rather than conflict. Goldenrod's modern towers stand alongside Ecrutique's ancient structures without either diminishing the other. It proves the journey often matters more than the destination. The path to facing red is as memorable as the battle itself. The region's connection to Japanese mythology extends beyond obvious elements. The legendary beasts draw from various mythological feline guardians. Ho-Oh and Lugia reference yin-yang dualism and the balance between opposing forces. Celebi connects to nature spirits and forest guardians from Shinto tradition. Even smaller elements, like the kimono girls' dances or the significance of towers, reflect real Japanese cultural practices and beliefs. This cultural grounding gives Johto authenticity that transcends simple aesthetic choices. The relationship between Johto and Kanto creates an interesting dynamic. Kanto represents urbanization, technological advancement, and modernization. Johto represents tradition, nature, and cultural preservation. Neither is portrayed as superior. They're complementary. Johto's cities like Goldenrod show it can match Kanto's technological sophistication when needed, while Kanto's rural roots show it hasn't completely abandoned nature. The regions learn from each other, sharing technology like the Pokémon storage system while maintaining distinct identities. The theme of balance permeates every aspect of Johto. The region balances tradition with modernity, as seen in the contrast between Ecruteak and Goldenrod. It balances challenge with accessibility, providing difficult encounters for experienced players while remaining welcoming to newcomers. It balances nostalgia with innovation, connecting to Kanto while establishing its own identity. This careful equilibrium is what makes Johto feel complete and satisfying in ways that purely innovative or purely nostalgic regions cannot match. Let's dive deeper into the incredible diversity of Pokémon that call Johto home. Because there are so many more stories to tell about these creatures that make the region special. Sentret and Furret represent the common normal types of Johto, often overlooked but charming in their own right. Sentret is frequently one of the first Pokémon trainers encounter on Route 29, standing on its tail to scout for danger. This behavior mirrors real-world prairie dogs and meerkats, and the Pokédex notes that Sentret are so cautious they won't sleep unless another stands watch. Furret evolves from Sentret at level 15 and becomes a long, sleek mammal, capable of squeezing through narrow spaces. While not the most powerful Pokémon competitively, Furret's charm and early availability make it a nostalgic choice for many players who kept theirs throughout their entire journey. Hoothoot and Noctowl embody Johto's flying types and the day-night cycle mechanics. Hoothoot is always seen standing on one foot, switching legs at precise intervals that could supposedly be used to tell time. This bird Pokémon has an internal organ that senses Earth's rotation, making it an incredibly accurate timekeeper. Noctowl evolves at level 20 and becomes a formidable special attacker with access to psychic-type moves. The possibility of encountering a shiny Noctowl in the anime, where Ash catches one, made this evolution line even more memorable. Noctowl's ability to turn its head 180 degrees and its silent flight make it a perfect predator of the night. Ledyba and Ledian represent bug types with social structures. Ledyba are timid alone, but gain confidence in groups, often forming swarms that communicate through scent. They huddle together when cold, creating large clusters of the ladybug-like Pokémon. Ledian evolves at level 18 and gains the ability to navigate by the stars. The Pokédex describes Ledian scattering a glowing powder that puts enemies to sleep, and states that the spot patterns on its back grow larger or smaller, depending on the number of stars in the night sky. This celestial connection gives Ledian a mystical quality, despite being a relatively common Pokémon. Spinarak and Ariados brought spider Pokémon to Johto with designs that emphasized their predatory nature. Spinarak can be found primarily at night, reflecting real spider behavior. Its web is described as its second nervous system, allowing it to sense the slightest vibration from anywhere on the web. This sensitivity makes Spinarak an excellent guard, as nothing can approach its territory undetected. Ariados evolves at level 22 and becomes significantly more dangerous. Its horn secretes a powerful poison and the Pokédex describes it as having spinnerets on both its rear and its mouth, allowing it to weave silk from either end. Ariados sets traps with its thread, waiting patiently for prey to become entangled. Chinchou and Lantern illuminate the depths as electric water types, a unique combination that gives them only one weakness. Chinchou's antennae discharge electricity, and it uses these lights to communicate with others of its kind in the deep ocean. The positive and negative charges from its two antennae can stun prey before Chinchou swallows them whole. Lantern evolves at level 27 and becomes even more bioluminescent. Its light is so bright it can be seen from the surface even when Lantern swims 5 miles deep. The light serves multiple purposes. It can illuminate the dark ocean depths, blind predators, or attract prey. Fishermen supposedly used to follow Lantern's lights to find schools of fish. Pichu deserves special mention as the baby form of the franchise mascot. This tiny electric type can't control its electricity well, shocking itself when surprised or amused. The pouches in its cheeks are still small and can't store much electricity. And because Pichu isn't skilled at storing electrical energy, it actually absorbs electricity from others, rather than generating its own consistently. Playing with other Pichu causes electrical short circuits, creating spectacular sparking displays. Pichu evolves through high friendship, making it one of the first Pokémon to teach players about the importance of bonding with their team. Cleffa and Igglybuff round out the fairy-like baby Pokémon. Cleffa is said to arrive riding on shooting stars, and its silhouette resembles a star. Many people in Johto make wishes when they see a shooting star, not knowing it might actually be Cleffa falling from space. Igglybuff is incredibly soft and bouncy, and if it begins bouncing, it can't stop easily. Its vocal cords aren't fully developed, so prolonged singing strains its throat. Both of these baby Pokémon require careful nurturing before they evolve through friendship into Clefairy and Jigglypuff. Natu and Xatu present one of Johto's most mystical evolutionary lines. Natu is a tiny bird that can't fly yet, so it hops everywhere. Despite its small size, Natu possesses psychic powers that let it see the future. It's said that Natu picks food based on the precognitive visions it receives. Xatu evolves at level 25 and gains even more powerful psychic abilities. This Pokémon stands perfectly still all day, staring at the sun from morning until night. The reason for this behavior is profound. Xatu can see both the past and future simultaneously, and this overwhelming knowledge of time's flow paralyzes it with the weight of what it knows. Some Pokédex entries suggest Xatu sees such terrible futures that it becomes unable to move, frozen by the horrors of what's to come. Mareep's evolutionary line deserves more discussion because of its significance to Johto. Mareep's wool generates static electricity through friction, and the coat builds up substantial electrical charge. In the summer, Mareep's wool doubles in volume due to the increased static buildup. Fluffy evolves at level 15 and represents the awkward teenage stage. It shed most of its wool except for its head and tail, revealing rubbery skin underneath. The quality of Fluffy's fleece is said to generate such strong static electricity that it can double the usual amount of electricity produced. Ampharos at level 30 completes this transformation into a powerful beacon. The tail's tip shines brightly and can be seen from far distances, and in ancient times, people would communicate using Ampharos's light signals. The connection between Ampharos and lighthouses throughout Johto emphasizes humanity's partnership with Pokémon for practical purposes. Marill and Azumarill form a line that became iconic despite initial connections to Pikachu. Marill's oil-filled tail acts as a flotation device, allowing it to swim without effort. The tail is flexible and bouncy, and Marill uses it as a life preserver when swimming in strong currents. Marill's body composition is mostly water, making it resistant to water-based attacks. Azumarill evolves at level 18 and becomes significantly larger while maintaining the adorable appearance. Its long ears are excellent hearing organs that can pick up sounds from great distances, even underwater. Azumarill can make air bubbles that allow it to breathe underwater indefinitely, and it creates these same bubbles to protect Pokémon that can't swim. Sudowoodo's presence on Route 36 creates one of Johto's most memorable obstacles. This rock type's commitment to its tree disguise is remarkable. It avoids water because getting wet would reveal its true rocky composition, even though this means it struggles during rainy seasons. The Pokédex reveals that Sudowoodo's hands and feet become green during spring, presumably to maintain the disguise. Despite its deception, Sudowoodo actually makes a loyal companion once caught, and its unusual defensive typing gives it surprising resilience. Politoed's role as an alternate Poliwag evolution adds interesting lore. The spiral pattern on Politoed's belly is supposedly a physical manifestation of its internal organs being visible through thin skin. This marking also serves as a status symbol. Politoed with larger, more impressive spirals become leaders of Poliwag and Poliwhirl groups. When Politoed cry out, Poliwag and Poliwhirl gather from everywhere to obey. The sound of Politoed's cry is said to predict rain, and many farmers in Johto listen for it as a weather forecast. Hoppip, Skiploom, and Jumpluff represent wind-borne grass types with unique behavior patterns. Hoppip is so light that it drifts on the wind, completely unable to resist air currents. It clusters with other Hoppip to avoid being blown away entirely, forming pink patches in fields. Hoppip closes its leaf when it senses strong winds coming. Skiploom evolves at level 18 and gains slightly more control, using its flower to adjust its altitude by releasing more or less light pollen. The flower's bloom indicates temperature. Wide open means warmth, while tightly closed signals cold weather. Jumpluff at level 27 becomes even more wind-dependent, traveling around the world by riding on warm southern winds. When Jumpluff's spores are carried on wind, they can circle the globe. Ipom's tailhand makes it one of Johto's most dexterous Pokémon. The tail has a mind of its own to some extent, moving even when Ipom sleeps. Ipom uses its tail for everything: climbing, grasping food, and even attacking. The tail is so versatile that Aipom's actual hands have become weak from disuse. In later generations, Aipom can evolve into Ambipom when it learns Double Hit, representing mastery of using both tail hands in perfect synchronization. Sunkern and Sunflora embody pure grass-type simplicity. Sunkern is considered one of the weakest Pokémon in existence, with abysmal stats across the board. It tries to move as little as possible, conserving energy by staying still and photosynthesizing. When attacked, Sunkern falls from its branch and attempts to shake the attacker off. Despite this weakness, Sunkern transforms dramatically when exposed to a sunstone, becoming Sunflora. This cheerful Pokémon converts solar energy into nutrition incredibly efficiently, and it's always moving during the day to face the sun. On cloudy days, Sunflora barely moves at all, conserving energy until sunlight returns. Yanma brought Dragonfly Pokémon to Johto with impressive speed stats. Its eyes can see 360 degrees, making it nearly impossible to sneak up on. Yanma can generate shockwaves by beating its wings at high speeds, and this capability allows it to shatter glass. The sudden stopping and starting of its flight creates ultrasonic waves that can give opponents headaches. In later generations, Yanma can evolve into Yanmega, but in Johto, it remains a single-stage speed demon valuable for its base 95 speed stat. Wooper and Quagsire form one of Johto's most beloved evolutionary lines. Wooper lives in cold water, leaving to find food on land when the weather cools. The mucus covering Wooper's body is toxic if touched, and it becomes especially thick when Wooper is on land to prevent dehydration. Wooper seems perpetually happy with its simple lifestyle. Quagsire evolves at level 20 and becomes even more carefree. This Pokémon is described as easygoing and laid back to the point of laziness. Quagsire bumps its head constantly because it's not paying attention while swimming, but it never seems bothered. Despite this lackadaisical attitude, Quagsire's water-ground typing gives it only one weakness, and its ability water absorb or damp makes it surprisingly useful in battle. Espeon and Umbreon deserve expanded discussion given their significance. Espeon's forked tail quivers when it predicts an opponent's move, and the Pokédex reveals this prediction comes from air current analysis. Espeon's fine fur can sense minute shifts in the air, allowing it to forecast weather and enemy intentions. Its loyalty to trainers is so strong that Espeon developed psychic powers to protect them. The gem on its forehead amplifies these powers, focusing psychic energy. Espeon is most powerful in sunlight, fitting its evolution method. Umbreon represents the opposite, a dark type that embodies nighttime. When darkness falls, Umbreon's ring patterns glow faintly from absorbing moonlight. These rings are said to strike fear into anyone who sees them glowing in the darkness. Umbreon lies in wait for prey, remaining perfectly still until the right moment to strike. Its black fur makes it nearly invisible at night, and Umbreon's eyes glow red when it's about to attack. The Pokédex mentions that Umbreon sprays poisonous sweat from its paws when agitated, adding a toxic element to its arsenal. Despite this predatory nature, Umbreon is fiercely loyal to trainers who earn its trust. Murkrow and its evolution. Honchkrow, Brinquow. Dark, lush, flying types to Johto. Murkrow is known for its love of shiny objects, often stealing them and hiding them in secret locations. It's considered bad luck to see a Murkrow at night. As folklore claims, it lures people into getting lost in mountains. Murkrow works with partners, with one distracting victims while others steal. Despite this thieving reputation, Murkrow serves as a symbol of fortune in some Johto communities, showing cultural variations in Pokémon perception. Misdreavus introduced pure ghost-type presence to Johto caves. This Pokémon feeds on fear, using its red spheres to absorb frightened feelings. Misdreavus loves to sneak up on people at night and shriek in their ears, drinking in the terror this causes. The crying sounds it makes are meant to startle people, but the Pokédex reveals Misdreavus itself can be startled by silence. It seems to need some level of noise or activity around it to feel comfortable. Despite its mischievous nature, Misdreavus isn't particularly malicious. It simply enjoys pranks and feeds on emotional energy. Unown's existence raises philosophical questions beyond just their mysterious origins. With 28 different forms, Unown represent the most diverse single species in terms of visual variation. Each form corresponds to a different letter or symbol, and catching all forms became a completion challenge for dedicated players. The Pokédex states that research into whether Unown's shape or ancient texts came first continues, suggesting this isn't a settled question even among Pokémon researchers. What makes Unown truly fascinating is their implied connection to reality itself, individually weak but collectively capable of warping space and time. This suggests Unown might be fragments of something greater, pieces of a cosmic puzzle that, when assembled, can rewrite existence. The fact that they appear only in the Ruins of Alph and are tied to Arceus through the Sinnoh Ruins event implies they're witnesses to, or components of, creation itself. Wobbuffet's counter-attacking strategy makes it unlike any other Pokémon. It never makes the first move, instead waiting patiently for opponents to attack. Once attacked, Wobbuffet responds with devastating counter-attacks through counter for physical moves or mirror coat for special moves. Its massive HP stat allows it to endure attacks long enough to retaliate. The true genius of Wobbuffet's design is that its apparent body is a decoy. The black tail with eye spots is the actual Pokémon, and it keeps this secret body hidden behind a durable decoy. Wobbuffet hates having its tail attacked, likely because this strikes its true form rather than the decoy. Girafarig presents a unique dual consciousness Pokémon. Its head contains a brain, but its tail also has a small brain of its own. The tail brain can't sleep, keeping watch while Girafarig's main consciousness rests. This tail brain reacts to smells and sounds, attacking anything that approaches from behind. The two brains presumably communicate somehow, creating a Pokémon that's always partially alert. Girafarig's normal psychic typing is unique to it in Johto, and its design draws from both giraffes and the concept of warning coloration in animals. Pineco and Forretress represent fortress-like bug steel types. Pineco camouflages itself by hanging from tree branches, pretending to be a pine cone. It stays motionless to avoid detection, but if shaken or attacked, Pineco explodes to defend itself. This self-destruction mechanism is both a defense and a dispersal method. The explosion scatters Pineco pieces that can supposedly grow into new Pineco. Forretress evolves at level 31 and becomes a nearly impregnable fortress. Its steel shell is extremely hard, and Forretress can't even be scratched by most attacks. Inside this shell, Forretress makes its nest and raises young. It opens its shell only when attacking, shooting out pieces of its steel armor as projectiles before regrowing them. Dunsparce remains one of Pokemon's greatest enigmas. This rare normal type hides in dark caves, drilling through the ground with its tail. Dunsparce's back wings are tiny and seemingly useless, but it can actually float slightly off the ground by flapping them vigorously. The Pokédex describes Dunsparce as rare and elusive, with people considering sightings to be lucky. Despite its unimpressive appearance and stats, Dunsparce has developed a cult following of fans who appreciate its unusual design and mysterious nature. Some theories suggest Dunsparce was meant to evolve, but the evolution was cut, explaining its seemingly incomplete design. Gligar brought ground-flying combination to Johto with its scorpion bat design. This Pokémon glides silently using membrane wings between its arms and legs. Gligar latches onto prey's faces with its clawed hind legs and the claws on its tail, then injects poison with its stinger. It hangs from trees upside down while sleeping, and sometimes drops onto people's heads from branches above. Despite this predatory behavior, Gligar isn't particularly aggressive. It's simply hunting to survive. In later generations, Gligar can evolve into Gliscor, but in Johto, it stands alone as a valuable team member with useful immunities from its unique typing. Steelix's incredible defense deserves more attention. This Pokémon is harder than diamond, with its body having been compressed underground to incredible density. Steelix lives even deeper underground than Onix, in places dark enough that its body develops a harder, smoother texture. It can supposedly see in total darkness and identify the composition of underground layers by smell alone. When Steelix tunnels through the ground at depths over half a mile, it compresses earth and stone into diamonds in its wake. This creates a trail of precious gems, though retrieving them from such depths would be nearly impossible. The temperature underground where Steelix lives can exceed 600 degrees, yet its steel body remains cool to the touch due to heat diffusion properties. Snubbull and Granbull brought fairy types to Johto before the fairy type officially existed. Originally pure normal types, they were reclassified when fairy type was introduced in Generation 6. Snubbull's fierce appearance belies a timid nature. It looks intimidating but is actually gentle and cowardly. However, Snubbull has powerful jaws that won't release once they've bitten down. Granbull evolves at level 23 and becomes even more aggressive in appearance while actually becoming more loyal and protective. It faces opponents by opening its mouth wide and intimidating them, rarely needing to actually attack. Granbull is actually quite docile and devoted to its trainer despite its appearance, showing that judging Pokémon by looks alone is misleading. Qwilfish introduced water poison typing with its pufferfish design. This Pokémon drinks water to inflate its body to triple size, making the poisonous spikes covering it stand out in all directions. The poison in Qwilfish's spikes is strong enough to make swimmers and fish faint from pain. It uses this ability when threatened, becoming too large and spiky for most predators to attack. Interestingly, Qwilfish's venom can cause fainting with even the slightest prick, making it one of the more dangerous Pokémon to encounter in the wild despite not being particularly rare. Shuckle deserves special mention for having the most extreme stat distribution of any Pokémon. Its defense and special defense are extraordinarily high, while its attack, special attack, and speed are remarkably low. This makes Shuckle nearly impossible to knock out quickly, but also makes it struggle to defeat opponents. Shuckle stores berries in its shell, where they ferment into a delicious juice. The Pokédex claims this juice is so delicious people have tried to recreate it but failed. Shuckle secretes the juice as a protective coating, and the liquid becomes stickier as Shuckle ages. Some trainers in Johto are known to use Shuckle solely for producing this juice rather than for battle. Heracross's significance to bug-type representation can't be overstated. Before Heracross, bug types were generally considered weak early-game Pokémon that evolved quickly and were replaced. Heracross shattered this perception with its exceptional attack stat and powerful fighting-type moves. It can lift objects 500 times its own weight with its massive horn, and it uses this horn to throw opponents or dig into trees to find sap. Heracross has a gentle nature and loves sweet foods, but it becomes violent when defending territory or when its favorite tree is threatened. The Pokémon's relationship with Pinsir is antagonistic. They compete for the same tree sap, and battles between them can become fierce. Teddiursa's crescent moon marking on its forehead supposedly glows in the dark on nights with a full moon. This bear, Pokémon, makes its own honey by blending pollen collected by Beedrill, though this sometimes leads to conflicts when Beedrill don't appreciate the theft. Teddiursa hides food in its fur, pulling out hidden berries when hungry. Ursaring evolves from Teddiursa at level 30 and becomes significantly more aggressive. The rings on Ursaring's body glow when it's angered, and its paws have strong claws for combat. Despite this ferocity, Ursaring is a devoted parent that goes to extreme lengths to protect Teddiursa. The species is highly territorial, marking trees with claw marks to warn others away. Slugma and Magcargo bring pure fire-type and fire-rock-type presence to Johto. Slugma is molten lava given life, and it must keep moving constantly, or its body will cool and harden, causing death. Slugma circulates molten magma through its body, maintaining constant movement even during sleep. When it's not moving, Slugma's body gradually cools and hardens, which is why these Pokémon never truly rest. Magcargo evolves at level 38 and gains a hardened shell over its molten body. The shell is actually brittle and breaks easily, but magma immediately leaks out and hardens again. The temperature of Magcargo's body supposedly exceeds 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to vaporize raindrops instantly and ignite wood on contact. This extreme temperature makes Magcargo incredibly dangerous, though this raises questions about how trainers can safely handle them. Swinub and Piloswine represent ice ground types with woolly mammoth inspiration. Swinub uses its nose to search for food, digging through snow and ice to find mushrooms and plants buried beneath. Its whole body is covered in thick hair that insulates against cold, and Swinub's tusks are made of ice. Piloswine evolves at level 33 and becomes massive, with fur so thick it can't see at all. Piloswine relies entirely on its sensitive nose to navigate, detect food, and sense danger. It charges in the direction of any scent it picks up, sometimes causing property damage when it mistakes a scent and rams through buildings. Despite this lack of sight, Piloswine is an effective ice type with powerful physical attacks. Corsola brings coral reef Pokémon to Johto's waters. This water rock type grows in warm southern seas, forming communities of Corsola that create beautiful reefs. The branches on Corsola's head are actually antlers made of coral that regrow if broken. People in tropical regions harvest these coral branches carefully without harming Corsola, using them for jewelry. Corsola needs clean water to survive. Pollution causes the coral to turn dull and eventually die. This makes Corsola an indicator species for ocean health, with thriving populations suggesting clean, well-maintained waters. Remoraid and Octillery form an odd evolutionary pair that goes from fish to octopus. Remoraid attaches to Mantine for protection and transportation, shooting down flying prey with water jets for Mantine to eat, sharing the spoils. Remoraid's body is shaped like a gun, and it can shoot water with enough force to knock down flying Pokémon. Octillery evolves at level 25 and gains a completely different body plan. This transformation from fish to octopus is one of the most dramatic in Pokémon, with no intermediate stage showing the transition. Octillery has excellent vision and can see in dim lighting that would blind most Pokémon. It traps enemies in its tentacles and finishes them with ink or powerful suction. The tank-like protrusions on Octillery's head can shoot water or ink with incredible accuracy. Delibird's present move mechanics make it one of the most unpredictable Pokémon. The move can heal opponents instead of damaging them, representing the randomness of gift-giving. Delibird supposedly carries food in its tail to share with people lost in mountains, acting as a rescue Pokémon. It's said that Delibird has saved countless stranded mountaineers by sharing its food, though the randomness of present means sometimes the gift is helpful and sometimes harmful. Despite weak stats, Delibird has become beloved for its charitable nature and holiday associations. Mantine's relationship with Remoraid creates one of Pokémon's best examples of symbiosis. While many players didn't realize Remoraid are the small grey shapes attached to Mantine's fins, breeding Mantine produces both a Mantike and a Remoraid egg, emphasizing their connection. Mantine swims elegantly through the ocean, occasionally leaping out of the water to soar through the air. Seeing a flock of mantine elegantly swimming in the ocean is supposedly a breathtaking sight that many sailors cherish. Skarmory's steel feathers are sharp enough to be used as swords, and they're hollow for reduced weight, allowing flight despite being made of metal. These feathers molt once per year, and people in Johto have historically collected them for use as weapons and tools. Skarmory makes its nest from thorny bushes, raising chicks in these prickly fortresses that deter predators. The armor-like plating protecting Skarmory's body can withstand even Tyranitar's attacks, and old specimens show battle scars from decades of combat. Despite this warlike appearance, Skarmory are dedicated parents that defend their nests ferociously. Houndour and Houndoom's pack behavior adds depth to their lore. Houndour communicate through complex barks to coordinate hunts, working together to take down prey much larger than themselves. They demonstrate remarkable loyalty to pack members and their trainer if caught. Houndoom serves as the pack leader, distinguished by longer horns and deeper howls. The toxins in Houndoom's fire supposedly cause pain that never fully goes away, and this characteristic makes Houndoom feared throughout Johto. Despite this fearsome reputation, Houndoom shows absolute loyalty to trainers it respects, making it a powerful and devoted partner. Kingdra's ability to create whirlpools by yawning demonstrates its power. This Pokémon hides in deep sea trenches where no light reaches, and its body composition allows it to withstand incredible pressure. Kingdra is said to be capable of sleeping in these trenches while being completely motionless, conserving energy in the food-scarce deep ocean. When storms rage above the ocean, Kingdra supposedly wakes and surfaces, suggesting a connection to weather patterns. Its dragon typing combined with water creates a nearly perfect defensive combination that was unmatched until fairy types were introduced. Phanpy's adorable appearance masks surprising strength. It showers itself using its trunk, spraying water to cool off on hot days. Phanpy's trunk is powerful enough to knock down large trees, and it uses this strength to uproot plants for food. Baby Phanpy can't control their trunks well and sometimes spray themselves in the face accidentally. Donphan evolves at level 25 and becomes powerful enough to smash through houses by rolling. The tire-like design allows Donphan to roll at incredible speeds, while its tough hide protects it from damage. Donphan's trunk packs enough power to cause significant destruction, making it valuable for construction and demolition work, in addition to battle. Porygon 2's upgrade represents technological advancement in the Pokémon world. This artificial Pokémon was created by adding new programming to Porygon, specifically designed to allow space exploration. Porygon 2 can supposedly exist in cyberspace and travel through networks, making it the only Pokémon capable of entering computer systems directly. Its rounded, aerodynamic body was designed with space travel in mind, though whether Porygon 2 has actually been used for this purpose remains unclear in game lore. Stantler's antlers create a mysterious distortion field that causes observers to see illusory scenery. This effect is so powerful that people can become completely lost in forests when Stantler bend reality around them. Groups of Stantler use this ability to protect their territory and confuse predators. The changing appearance of Stantler's antlers supposedly affects the power of the illusions, with larger, more complex antlers producing stronger effects. Despite this reality-warping ability, Stantler are generally peaceful and only use illusions defensively. Smeargle's sketch ability opens up possibilities no other Pokémon possesses. With access to nearly every move in the game through sketching, a trained Smeargle can have absolutely any moveset. This versatility makes Smeargle popular for catching legendary Pokémon. It can learn False Swipe to leave opponents at 1 HP, Spore to guarantee sleep, Moves to paralyze, and Mean Look to prevent escape. Some competitive players create Smeargle with unusual move combinations impossible for any other Pokémon, leading to unexpected strategies. The only limitation is that Smeargle's stats are mediocre, so while it can use any move, it won't use them as effectively as specialists. Tyrogue's stat-based evolution creates interesting breeding challenges. To obtain all 3 evolutions, players need Tyrogue with different stat distributions. A Tyrogue with higher attack than defense becomes Hitmonlee at level 20. Higher defense than attack produces Hitmonchan. Exactly equal attack and defense results in Hitmontop. This evolution method encourages understanding of Pokémon stats and adds strategy to training. Hitmontop's unique spinning kicks and triple kick attacks made it a welcome addition to the Hitmon family. Miltank's reputation as Whitney's ace has made it infamous among players. The combination of Miltank's bulk, rollout's increasing power, and Milk Drink's healing created a boss battle that tested unprepared trainers severely. Many players remember Miltank as their first major difficulty spike, teaching them the importance of type advantages, status moves, and proper team composition. Outside of this battle, Miltank represents agricultural Pokémon perfectly. It produces high-quality milk that trainers and Pokémon love, and it's gentle and nurturing despite formidable battle capabilities. Blissey deserves mention as the evolution of Chansey and holder of the highest HP stat in the game. Blissey evolves from Chansey through high friendship, representing a Pokémon that has been loved and cared for extensively. Blissey's egg is supposedly delicious and nutritious, bringing happiness to anyone who eats it. These Pokémon work in Pokémon centers alongside Chansey, helping Nurse Joy heal injured Pokémon. Blissey's incredible HP, combined with access to healing moves, makes it nearly impossible to knock out through prolonged battle. Raikou's Pokédex entries paint it as the incarnation of lightning itself. When it roars, thunderclouds form in the sky, and its cry sounds like the rumbling crack of thunder falling to earth. This legendary beast embodies the speed and power of electricity, racing across land faster than the eye can follow. Some Pokédex entries suggest that Raikou descends with lightning bolts, appearing and disappearing in an instant like the electricity it represents. Entei's connection to volcanic activity makes it particularly interesting. The Pokédex states that a new Entei is born whenever a new volcano forms, suggesting these legendary beasts aren't unique individuals, but rather manifestations of natural forces. When Entei roars, a volcano erupts somewhere in the world, demonstrating its connection to volcanic power. Entei's mane resembles smoke and flame, constantly flowing as if it's perpetually burning. The beast's ability to appear and disappear seemingly at random made encounters with it frustrating for trainers attempting to catch it. Suicune's special status among the legendary beasts comes from its unique appearance pattern. Unlike Raikou and Entei, which roam randomly, Suicune appears at specific locations throughout the player's journey. It observes the player from Qianwood City, encounters them at other locations, and eventually allows battle at specific story points. This progression suggests Suicune is deliberately testing the player's worthiness. Suicune's ability to purify polluted water instantly makes it an environmental guardian, and it travels constantly searching for pure water sources to protect. The Battle Tower in Johto introduced players to competitive style battles. Opponents in the Battle Tower used optimal movesets, proper EV training, and strategic team composition that exceeded anything found in the main story. This facility challenged players to think more deeply about type coverage, prediction, and strategy. Success required understanding not just type matchups, but also stat distributions, held items, and common strategies. Winning streaks in the Battle Tower granted valuable prizes including rare items, TMs, and even Pokémon with good stats or rare moves. The facility became a test of true mastery. Beating the Elite Four and Champion was one achievement, but maintaining a 50-win streak in the Battle Tower required genuine competitive knowledge. The introduction of proper competitive mechanics in Generation 2 laid groundwork for Pokémon's lasting appeal. EVs, or effort values, determined how Pokémon's stats grew beyond their base stats and IVs. Players could influence these values by battling specific Pokémon species, allowing customization of stat distribution. A Pokémon could be trained for maximum attack and speed, or defense and special defense, or any other combination. This system added incredible depth while remaining completely optional for casual players. IVs, or individual values, determined the inherent potential of each Pokémon. These hidden values ranged from 0 to 31 in each stat, making some Pokémon naturally stronger than others of the same species. Breeding allowed passing down IVs from parents to offspring, creating the possibility of breeding competitively viable Pokémon with excellent stats. This breeding mechanic would become central to competitive play, with dedicated players spending hours breeding for perfect IV combinations. Natures, introduced properly in Generation 3 but with foundations in Generation 2, added another customization layer. Each nature boosted one stat by 10%, while reducing another by 10%. This meant trainers needed to consider not just species and moveset, but also nature when building teams. An adamant Tyranitar with boosted attack and reduced special attack played very differently from a careful Tyranitar with boosted special defense and reduced special attack. Dark Cave provides Johto's first truly optional dungeon. Accessible from Route 31 without flash, navigating it requires patience and bumping into walls to map the space mentally. The cave contains few items and no required story progression, making it purely for explorers. However, using Flash reveals the full layout and shows the cave connects to Route 46 much later in the game. This creates a satisfying moment when players realize they've emerged somewhere completely different from where they entered. Dark Cave's Pokémon encounters include Dunsparce, one of Johto's rarest finds. This elusive normal type appears infrequently, making encounters with it exciting for collectors. Geodude and Zubat also inhabit the cave, providing training opportunities for players willing to navigate the darkness. The cave's optional nature means many players miss it entirely on their first playthrough, discovering it only on subsequent journeys. Union Cave connects Route 32 to Route 33, requiring players to traverse it as part of the main story. The cave's upper floor is relatively straightforward, but the lower floor, accessible later, requires surf. This lower level contains Lapras, which appears only on Fridays, teaching players about time-based encounters. The cave's Pokémon population includes Geodude, Onix, and Sandshrew, providing rock and ground-type encounters. Union Cave's design teaches players about multi-level dungeons and the importance of returning to previous locations with new abilities. The surf-required lower level can't be accessed during the first visit, encouraging players to remember and return. This design philosophy of layered exploration rewards thorough players who revisit old locations. Slowpoke Wells serves as Johto's first significant dungeon with story implications. Team Rocket's operation harvesting Slowpoke tails for profit drives the plot forward and establishes the villainous team's return. The Well's two floors are relatively simple to navigate, but the encounter with Rocket Grunts and Executive Proton provides story context and motivation. Slowpoke themselves are sacred to Azalea Town, making Team Rocket's actions particularly offensive to locals. The well supposedly produces rain when Slowpoke gather there, and the town's prosperity depends on this rainfall. This connection between Pokémon and human communities demonstrates Johto's emphasis on coexistence and mutual benefit. Harming the Slowpoke isn't just cruel, it threatens the entire town's way of life. Clearing Slowpoke. Well rewards players with Kurt's gratitude and access to his Pokeball crafting services. This immediate practical benefit reinforces that helping Pokémon and communities leads to rewards. The well itself becomes accessible later for catching Slowpoke, Zubat, and the rare shiny Slowpoke mentioned in some versions. Ilex Forest feels more mystical than most Johto locations. The forest's maze-like layout confuses first-time visitors, and the far-fetched quest requires players to chase the elusive Pokémon through the trees. This puzzle tests patience and observation, teaching players to carefully track moving NPCs. Returning the far-fetched to its trainer rewards players with HM01 Cut, an essential move. Fortal progress. The shrine, deep within Ilex Forest, honors Celebi, though players can't encounter the time-travel Pokémon without special events. The Shrine Keeper protects this sacred space, explaining Celebi's role as guardian of the forest. This creates atmosphere and mythology, even without Celebi being obtainable, suggesting the forest holds secrets beyond what's immediately visible. Ilex Forest's dense trees and winding paths create a sense of being lost in nature. The forest feels alive in ways roots don't, with headbuttable trees potentially containing Pokémon, hidden items scattered throughout, and trainers concealed among the vegetation. The forest serves as a natural barrier between early game and mid-game areas, requiring players to navigate it before accessing Goldenrod City. Goldenrod Underground expands the city vertically, creating a subterranean shopping and social district. The underground passages connect various parts of Goldenrod, providing shortcuts once players memorize the layout. Shops here sell items unavailable elsewhere, including evolution stones and rare held items. The Haircut Brothers offer friendship-increasing services, making the underground essential for players raising Pokémon like Crobat or Espeon that require high friendship to evolve. The underground also features trainers who can be battled for experience and money. These trainers use diverse teams that change over time, providing renewable content. The photo studio allows commemorative pictures, creating memories of the journey. While not mechanically significant, these photos add personal touches that make playthroughs feel unique. A small secret in the underground involves the Name Rater, who can change Pokémon nicknames. This NPC provides essential services for players who caught Pokémon before deciding on perfect names, or who received traded Pokémon with undesirable nicknames. The Name Rater's presence in the underground, rather than a dedicated building, emphasizes Goldenrod's efficient use of space. National Park preserves natural beauty in the heart of Johto. This large park features diverse bug-type Pokémon and serves as the venue for the bug-catching contest. The contest's rules are simple. Catch the best bug-type Pokémon within the time limit, using provided sport balls. Judges evaluate catches based on species rarity and individual strength, with prizes for top performers. The bug-catching contest teaches players about Pokémon evaluation beyond just level. A high-level common species might lose to a lower-level rare species. This encourages understanding of what makes individual Pokémon special, rather than just grinding levels. Prizes include Sunstones, rare Pokémon, and other valuable items, making participation worthwhile even for players not particularly interested in bug types. National Park's design as a preserved natural space within a developed region comments on conservation. The park protects bug-type habitats that might otherwise be lost to urbanization. This creates a safe space for species like Caterpie, Weedle, and Scyther that need forests to thrive. The park's existence suggests Johto values nature preservation alongside technological progress. The bell tower stands as Ecrutique's monument to hope and redemption. Only trainers who have proven themselves worthy by obtaining all 8 Johto badges and the Rainbow Wing can ascend. The tower's interior features teleportation puzzles and strong wild Pokémon testing preparation and skill. Each floor requires careful navigation, with teleport tiles sending players to different locations if they step wrong. The tower's height creates a sense of ascending towards something sacred. As players climb, they're moving from the earthly realm toward the heavens where Ho-Oh dwells. This vertical journey mimics spiritual ascension, with each floor representing another step toward enlightenment or worthiness. The wild Pokémon, including Rattata and later Raticate, seem strangely out of place in this sacred space, perhaps representing the mundane obstacles that must be overcome even in spiritual journeys. Reaching the tower's peak and encountering Ho-Oh creates one of gaming's most memorable moments. The legendary Pokémon waits patiently, and players must prepare carefully before engaging. Ho-Oh's level 40 or 45, depending on version, makes it a significant challenge, but its capture represents achieving something truly rare and special. The sacred ash held by Ho-Oh in some versions further emphasizes its role as a resurrection and healing force. The burned tower stands in stark contrast, a charred reminder of tragedy. The tower's unstable floors can collapse beneath players, dropping them to lower levels. This physical instability mirrors the tower's history. It's literally breaking apart, unable to support its own weight anymore. The basement contains the legendary beasts, sleeping until players awaken them. Upon awakening, the beasts flee, beginning their roaming pattern across Johto. The burnt tower's basement also contains hidden items including evolutionary stones, rewarding players who thoroughly explore. The tower serves as both memorial and reminder. What happened here shaped Johto's legendary Pokémon, and the consequences still ripple through the region. The contrast between the pristine bell tower and ruined burned tower emphasizes how quickly glory can fall and how long recovery takes. The Olivine Lighthouse serves practical and emotional purposes. Ships rely on its light for safe harbor navigation, and without it, Olivine's port would be dangerous and possibly unusable. The lighthouse's 6 floors require climbing stairs while battling trainers who use the location for training. Each floor brings players closer to the sick Ampharos at the top. Jasmine's devotion to the ill Ampharos demonstrates the bonds between trainers and Pokémon. She refuses to leave its side even though her gym challengers are waiting. This dedication shows that responsibilities to Pokémon outweigh responsibilities to human institutions like gym challenges. Players must journey to Keenwood City to obtain medicine, creating a quest that spans significant distance and requires multiple HM moves. Returning with the medicine and healing Ampharos rewards players with Jasmine's gratitude and her willingness to accept gym challenges. The restored Ampharos resumes its duty as the lighthouse beacon, and ships can safely navigate again. This quest chain teaches that helping Pokémon often requires significant effort and sacrifice, but the rewards, both practical and emotional, make it worthwhile. The lighthouse's role as a beacon extends metaphorically. It represents guidance and safety, showing lost ships the way home. Ampharos itself embodies this guidance. Its light reaches far distances, helping those in darkness find their way. The lighthouse stands as a monument to the partnership between humans and Pokémon, showing how cooperation achieves what neither could alone. The Whirl Islands create a labyrinthine water-based dungeon requiring multiple HM moves. 4 islands surround a central cave system with underwater passages connecting them. Players must navigate whirlpools, use strength to move boulders, and surf through various water levels to reach Lugia's chamber. This complex navigation creates a genuine challenge that filters casual players from dedicated trainers. The island's wild Pokémon include water types and strong species appropriate for late-game areas. Seal and Dugong appear here, giving players access to Ice-type Pokémon that prove useful against Lance's dragons. The island's maze-like caves can disorient players, requiring careful mapping or consultation of guides for first-timers. Lugia's chamber at the island's heart feels appropriately isolated and sacred. The diving Pokémon rests here in self-imposed exile, far from civilization where its power can't accidentally harm anyone. The silver wing required for encounter proves the player's worthiness. They've been recognized by Johto's people as responsible enough to approach such power. Battling Lugia at level 40 or 45 tests, team strength and catching ability. The Whirl Island's constant whirlpools and strong currents suggest Lugia's presence affects the environment even while resting. The perpetual storms and treacherous waters serve as natural protection, keeping casual visitors away. Only trainers with powerful water-type Pokémon capable of navigating these hazards can reach Lugia, ensuring the legendary Pokémon isn't disturbed frivolously. Ice Path connects Blackthorn City to Mahogany Town through frozen caves requiring ice puzzle solving. Players must slide across ice in straight lines, using rocks and walls to stop and change direction. These puzzles require spatial reasoning and planning, as one wrong move can force restarting. The path's challenge level appropriately tests late-game players preparing for the Dragon Gym. Ice Path's Pokémon encounters include ice types useful against Claire's Dragon team. Jinx appears here along with Swinub and others, giving players opportunities to catch species with type advantages. The cave's multiple floors and branching paths create optional exploration beyond the critical path, rewarding thorough players with items and rare encounters. The ice puzzles in Ice Path pioneered a mechanic that would appear in many future Pokémon games. The satisfaction of solving these puzzles, especially the complex ones requiring multiple moves in sequence, creates memorable gameplay moments distinct from battle-focused challenges. Some players found these puzzles frustrating, while others enjoyed the mental exercise they provided. Ice Path's aesthetic creates appropriate atmosphere for approaching Blackthorn. The frozen caves feel harsh and unforgiving, matching the Dragon Tamer's reputation for toughness. Navigating successfully demonstrates the player possesses not just strong Pokémon, but also problem-solving skills and patience, traits Dragon Tamers would respect. The Dragon's Den behind Blackthorn City serves as sacred ground for the Dragon Clan. This cave contains a small shrine where clan elders reside, testing challenges' worthiness. The den's wild Pokémon include Dratini and Magikarp, with Dratini being particularly sought after for evolving into powerful Dragonite. The den's water-filled interior requires surf and whirlpool, creating navigation challenges. After defeating Claire, players must face the Dragon Clan Elder's questions. These questions test philosophy and attitude toward Pokémon, rather than battle skill. The Elders want to ensure challengers understand that strength comes from partnership rather than dominance, from respect rather than control. Only after passing this test do players receive the Rising Badge and acknowledgement as worthy trainers. The Dragon's Den quiz represents Johto's values perfectly. Raw strength isn't enough. Trainers must demonstrate proper character and understanding. This moral component to achievement elevates the Dragon Badge above a simple battle victory. Players must prove they've learned the lessons Johto teaches about cooperation, respect, and growth. Claire's initial refusal to award the badge shows her own growth is incomplete. She struggles with pride and accepting defeat, ironically failing the same character test she helps administer. Her grandfather's intervention teaches her this lesson, and her eventual acceptance of defeat demonstrates growth. This character arc makes Claire more interesting than a simple, strong trainer. She's someone learning alongside the player. Mount Silver represents Johto's ultimate challenge and reward. The mountain's interior is harsh and unforgiving, with high-level wild Pokémon that can devastate unprepared teams. The climb requires using Flash to navigate dark caves, though skilled players can, navigate without it. Each floor brings players closer to the summit where Red waits. The wild Pokémon on Mount Silver exceed even Victory Road's level, featuring Pokémon in the 40s when most late-game areas cap in the 30s. This level spike ensures only fully trained teams can navigate successfully. Misdreavus, Ursaring, Donphan, and other powerful species appear, each capable of causing problems if underestimated. The mountain's aesthetic emphasizes isolation and harshness. Snowstorms batter the upper reaches, and the environment feels hostile to human presence. This inhospitable nature makes Red's choice to train here even more impressive. He's deliberately chosen the harshest possible conditions to push himself and his Pokémon beyond all limits. Reaching the summit and finding Red creates a moment that has become legendary in gaming. His silence speaks volumes. He's moved beyond needing words, communicating purely through actions. His team ranges from level 70 to 81, depending on version, making this battle significantly harder than any previous challenge. Red's team showcases perfect balance with coverage for every type and situation. Defeating Red grants no tangible reward beyond the satisfaction of winning. There's no item, no new area unlocked, no story progression. The battle exists purely as the ultimate test of skill, a challenge for its own sake. This purity makes victory meaningful in ways reward-based achievements aren't. Defeating Red proves mastery of Pokémon training at the highest level. The emotional weight of battling Red comes from nostalgia and respect. For players who experienced Red and Blue, this battle represents confronting their former self. Red is the player from 3 years ago, now standing as the ultimate obstacle. Defeating him symbolizes growth and improvement, proving the player has surpassed who they once were. This meta-narrative layer adds profound meaning to what could have been just another strong trainer battle. Junichi Masuda's soundtrack for Gold and Silver deserves deep appreciation. Each location has music that perfectly captures its character and mood. Ecruteak City's theme uses traditional Japanese instruments to evoke the ancient capital, creating reverence and historical weight. The koto-like melodies and temple bell sounds transport players to old Japan, making Ecruteak feel truly timeless. Goldenrod City's theme contrasts completely with its bustling urban energy. The upbeat melody suggests commerce and activity, with rhythms that feel like walking through crowded streets past shops and businesses. This theme makes Goldenrod feel alive and modern, the beating heart of Johto's economy. Route themes transition seamlessly between day and night versions. Daytime route music tends toward energetic melodies, encouraging exploration and adventure. Nighttime versions become contemplative and sometimes melancholic, perfect for quiet evening walks. This musical day-night cycle reinforces the time system's importance and adds emotional depth to exploration. The legendary Pokémon encounter theme builds tension perfectly. Its urgent rhythm creates pressure to act quickly, while the melody suggests the gravitas of encountering such powerful creatures. This theme plays when confronting the legendary beasts, or when Entei and Raikou appear randomly during exploration, making each encounter feel appropriately epic. The champion battle theme celebrates achievement while maintaining pressure. Lance's theme acknowledges players have reached the pinnacle of conventional challenge, while making clear the battle won't be easy. The melody balances triumph with tension, perfectly capturing the emotional state of facing the ultimate trainer. Red's battle theme might be Gold and Silver's most iconic musical moment. The synthesized version of the original game's final battle theme creates instant nostalgia while being updated for new hardware. This musical callback emphasizes Red's identity as the former player character, tying together 3 years of Pokémon history in one battle. The rival battle theme evolves throughout the journey, with different versions reflecting Silver's character development. Early versions sound harsh and aggressive, matching his attitude. Later versions incorporate more melodic elements, suggesting his gradual softening and growth. By the final battle, the theme acknowledges he's become a true rival rather than just an antagonistic thief. The HeartGold and SoulSilver remakes expanded Johto while preserving what made the original special. Following Pokémon became the headline feature. The lead Pokémon walks behind the player sprite, visible on all routes and in cities. Different species have unique walking animations and speeds, from Furret's quick scamper to Snorlax's slow waddle. This feature added personality to each Pokémon and strengthened emotional bonds. Interacting with following Pokémon by facing them and pressing A produced varied responses. Happy Pokémon might jump or dance, while others show different emotions. Location-specific reactions added depth. Water types enjoy being near oceans, fire types dislike rain, and ghost types might mention feeling other spirits nearby. These interactions made Pokémon feel like genuine companions rather than abstract data. The Pokéwalker pedometer device extended gameplay into real life. Transferring a Pokémon to the walker allowed earning experience through physical steps. Different walker routes featured different wild Pokémon, some exclusive to the device. This innovation encouraged exercise while providing legitimate gameplay benefits. The Pokéwalker could store watts earned from steps, which unlocked new routes and items. The Pokéathlon replaced the beauty contests with sports competitions. 10 different events tested various physical attributes through minigames. Speed competitions required rapid button presses. Power competitions tested strength. Skill events required precision. Stamina measured endurance, and jump tested leaping ability. Different Pokémon excelled at different events based on their natural capabilities, encouraging use of diverse species. The Battle Frontier from Emerald version was added, providing extensive post-game content for competitive players. Multiple facilities each tested different skills. The Battle Factory required adapting to rental Pokémon. The Battle Hall allowed choosing opponents by type. The Battle Arcade introduced random conditions, and others provided unique challenges. Earning medals from Frontier Brains became the ultimate post-game objective for dedicated players. The Safari Zone became customizable, allowing players to arrange habitat blocks to attract specific Pokémon. Different block combinations created environments appealing to different species. Waiting real-world time after arranging blocks caused Pokémon to move in, teaching patience and planning. This system gave players agency in building their ideal Safari Zone while maintaining the traditional catching mechanics. Gym leader rematches were added with telephone scheduling. Leaders could be called for rematches at specific times and days, using teams significantly stronger than their gym battles. These rematches provided challenging content and opportunities to see gym leaders at full strength. Some leaders gave their phone numbers automatically, while others required specific conditions. The remakes added legendary Pokémon from other generations through special events. Arceus could be brought from Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum to trigger the Sinnoh Ruins event. Here, Arceus demonstrates creation of Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina, while Unown facilitate the process. This event revealed deep connections between Johto and Sinnoh mythologies, suggesting both regions' legendary Pokémon share cosmic origins. Obtaining all 16 gym badges allows access to a new. From receiving our starter in New Bark Town to the climactic battle atop Mount Silver, Johto provided an unforgettable journey. We explored ancient ruins and modern cities, caught legendary beasts and raised baby Pokémon, honored tradition and embraced innovation. We discovered that being a Pokémon master isn't just about winning battles. It's about forming bonds, showing respect, persevering through challenges, and never stopping growth. The Johto region stands as testament to what Pokémon can achieve when every element works in harmony toward unified vision. It's a region that continues captivating players decades after introduction because its themes are timeless and execution masterful. Whether you started with Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile, whether you favored Raikou, Entei or Suicune, whether you connected more with Ho-Oh's rebirth or Lugia's preservation, Johto offered something meaningful. The 100 new Pokémon weren't mere roster additions. They were characters with personalities, designs telling stories, and roles within Johto's ecosystem. From humble Sentret to legendary Ho-Oh, each contributed to making Johto feel alive and diverse. Baby Pokémon emphasized nurturing. Legendary beasts represented raw natural power. Starter evolutions showcased different paths to strength. Together, these Pokémon created a world as rich and varied as the region itself. Johto's music, locations, Pokémon, characters and mythology combine to create something greater than the sum of parts. It's a region that respects its past while building its future, honors tradition while embracing change, and challenges players while supporting their growth. These contradictions don't weaken Johto, they define it. The region exists in beautiful balance, much like Ho-Oh and Lugia atop their respective towers, watching over a land where humans and Pokémon walk together in harmony. Here's to the Johto region, to its misty mountains and bustling cities, to its ancient towers and modern innovations, to its legendary Pokémon and humble partners, to its challenges overcome and bonds formed. Here's to a region that proved Pokémon was more than a fad, that the world was vast enough for countless adventures, and that the best journeys are those we share with friends both human and Pokémon alike. Thank you for joining this deep dive into 120 facts, stories and mysteries of the Johto region. May your own journey through this remarkable region be as memorable and meaningful as the discoveries we've shared today. Until next time, trainers, keep exploring, keep bonding with your Pokémon, and never stop seeking the next adventure that awaits just over the horizon.